Anticipated revenues, three items. The County Board of Paid Patients. In 2012, 32.649 was realized. The introduced budget had 35.2 million there, and this revised budget got it down to 32.64, which is less than what was realized in 2012, which I thought was the way this stuff was supposed to work. But the two other items, the county clerk revenue, 1.969 was realized in 2012. The introduced budget had 1.775. This amendment has 2.205. That's greater than what was realized in 2012. And it's the same deal for the realty transfer fees. Realized was 3.2 in 2012. The introduced budget had 3, and this amended budget has over 3.6 million. Both items, realty transfer fees and the county clerk, are much higher than was even realized, which I didn't think was possible or was not allowed by the wherever you're going to. How can you do this? Like anticipate more money than you actually realized in 2012? So that was it.
As a rule of thumb, I would advise that Mr. Murray is actually correct. You typically cannot anticipate more than you realize in the prior year revenue. However, if you can substantiate that you have a trend and that you can show that those revenues are reasonably able to be collected in a responsible manner, you can actually anticipate it with the approval of the state, for which we do have approval for the realty transfer fees as well as the county clerk revenues. As far as Runnels is concerned, there were several changes to Medicaid and Medicare reimbursement rates as well as the implementation of managed care, for which we realize will impact the revenues. A lot of those changes with regard, as well as changes with Congress's funding sources for those Medicaid reimbursements, also took effect. Those are items that we had to take into consideration in order to provide a reasonable estimate for the Board of Paid Patients revenue. Hence the reduction from last year's amount that we collect, bringing it in line with what we collected last year. That revenue is typically based upon the census within the hospital, and that census fluctuates. Hence, the revenue would also fluctuate. So as long as you can support the revenue with sufficient backup and you can provide that to the state, you will receive approval for those items.